A motion to open up the October 19th Board of Health meeting at 6:35 PM.
I move to open up the Board of Health meeting for October 19th at 6:35 PM.
All in favor? Aye. All right, we're going to skip a little bit
Is there
here.
an agenda for me?
Oh,
So
forgot.
that says Candace, right? You moved it, Steve.
I put it back.
And there's a pen.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna move along to Mr. Donovan. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. So I'm going
Brian,
to.
this is Steve McFawn. He's the chairman of the board. Candace Green, who's the clerk on the board. And
So I'm gonna kind of since you've been involved in this the whole time, Bob, I'm gonna kind of let you take the wheel on this, and bring us up. I mean, we're up to speed, but let's kind of
See what's
go with the
happening with
important
this
stuff and see if we can all come up with a fancy little decision about how to handle.
so, first I'd like to confirm, Mr. Donovan, that you are aware of my site visits. You are aware of what we've asked and tried to help you to do. The services that I've been trying to contact to give you assistance in doing that. And that there's a risk not only to yourself, but to the neighbors and any emergency response personnel that would or could show up into your unit at whatever point in time. You do understand that? Okay, because we've talked personally, and I heard the same thing. My last course of action is always enforcement. It is to help provide a solution to not a perceived problem, but a problem that is in flagrant disregard of a direct order of the laws, rules, and regulations that are in place that protect the safety and health and welfare of people. So tonight, why we want you here is so that we can find a course of action that will get measures corrected and offer the assistance within our realm to get you to that point. But it has been 3 months in the making. So, I'd just like to show you and the board, because you got my posting today, I'm sure,
Yep.
a picture, because for some reason the back slider area, which is your only secondary means of egress out of that unit, is blocked, which is not only, it's a huge fire hazard. I have not been allowed into your unit to find out if it's also a trash issue or if it's a debris issue. That having been said, I was going to print it. For some reason, I was having trouble with printing. So, or a vermin issue. But right now, I know it's a means of egress issue to which the fire department has a major concern responding in the event of a fire at the entire C2 unit.
part of my concern after looking at that is, and I can't say without a doubt, but it looks to be a lot of trash, which is concerning to me. And like I said, it looks, that's my opinion, but that's an opinion from the outside.
No, and I do have to say, in looking at it, it's a lot of cardboard. Is it a lot of, like, trash junk? Yes. Does it smell? I've been right up to the door with my nose there. And if it was, sorry, that's how inspections happen, really an emanating type of odor, then it would definitely be like, old garbage, old trash, theirs. But I'm not saying that there isn't any trash at all, Steve, but,
I will say, sorry, didn't one of the emails we got from a neighbor mention a smell complaint, an odor coming from the upstairs?
You're absolutely right, which is where I was going next.
Okay.
Because apparently in the two units, or many of the units throughout the whole complex, what happens is each unit's separate, but the bathrooms have been put together back to back, which means that the plumbing end or any emanating odors from the bathroom, which I haven't been able to get into for whatever reason, could penetrate the walls. That would definitely give a neighbor concerns.
So I guess the question is what are the barriers like that you're facing in cleaning this up? Why, because it looks like we first got an email about this and started looking into this in the beginning of June, which actually gives us 4 months. So what are the barriers to cleaning up the trash? Is it supplies? Is it time? Is it manpower? How, what's
Time
going
and
on?
manpower, I have supplies, if Bob gave you some trash bags, which I have been using.
Okay.
They could,
Where have you used them, if I might ask?
so I fill the bags up and then drop them at the transfer station and Bridgewater.
Oh, at Bridgewater, okay. I was
I
just,
have a permit to use the Bridgewater transfer station.
okay.
A little bit easier to get stuff there. And I have
Good.
taken some extra trips the last couple of weeks. Part of the problem is I had COVID in July, which really hit me bad. So I only can go for short spurts before I can't breathe. I have a couple of friends helping me, but they only can do it when they're not working. So it's a little manpower. I think I left the bag out. I think you may have taken it.
Yes, I did, because I offer you the
Yep.
service
Yep,
that if I see a bag there,
yep.
I have to admit I've skipped Sundays. But
Right.
besides that, yes, but that is the only bag that I picked up. I
Yeah.
also have a picture of that, and the stuff in the bag was not one of the bags, contracted bags that I provided for you. And it probably didn't have any more trash than,
No, it just was a bag.
very
that I-
minimal.
Bag that I
Very
couldn't, bag that I couldn't fit in my car the last time I went to
Oh,
the transfer station.
Okay.
So one question I have is, if we're taking stuff out, how come we haven't started with the egress area?
That's my
That
primary
one of the
concern.
most important, if not the most important area. You've taken out a few loads, you've said. So I'm just kind of curious as to why
So the
we've
problem
skipped
kinda-
that
The
area.
problem kind of started in the living room and moves back to the kitchen. So to get stuff out of the kitchen, I kind of have to first remove the stuff from the living room to make it an easier trip out the door.
All right, so here's my thinking. It's been 3 months. We haven't even gotten to the door yet. We need to find a way to expedite this. Because any moment in time, as Bob stated, EMTs could have to get in there, fire department could have to get in there. And now, on top of your life, we're risking all these responders. Unfortunately, I think even with the amount of stuff you have, 3 months is long enough to just get to a back door. So I think we have to take a different approach and, kind of.
So I do have arrangements to have a dumpster delivered next Saturday.
Who's doing that? Who's delivering that?
Bristol County Disposal, something like that. They have a backlog, so I made arrangements with them last week, but the first opening they had was not until.
All right, so you have like a weekend or something set up where you plan on having people over?
I'm gonna have it for the dumpster for a week. I made arrangements with one of my neighbors so I can put the dumpster in their parking spot, which will give me a straight shot out the door, right to the dumpster.
Do you have people coming over, like a clean out party kind of thing?
Yeah,
or?
yeah, I got that set up,
Okay.
so.
So why don't you start, can you open the back door from the outside and take things out that way rather than,
The door only opens from the inside.
okay. Because what I was gonna say is if you could unlock it and then open it from the outside, you could empty things
Right.
that way as well.
And or at least take some of the stuff there and put it into a bag. You can get to that back door, you just can't get out it. So that there'd be at least a path. Because heaven forbid, there's a fire and you need to get out that way. That's not accessible.
So there's also a bulkhead door that I can go out.
So in fire, you have seconds to respond, and it's a matter of egress isn't something that if it's in the housing code and in the fire code, it's extremely important. So as many ways as you can to get out of a building once it catches on fire, because smoke inhalation will overtake somebody in a heartbeat. We need to have, like immediately. So open it up to a degree.
Do you feel there's any issues that you might need traps or anything like that inside? No. Trash issues, rodent issues, anything
No.
like that?
No.
You?
No, the only.
Cats okay? Okay.
The only rodents I've discovered are the ones that my cats bring in after they've killed them.
Okay.
How many cats do you have?
2.
And that could be, where's their litter box?
In the stairway.
Yeah, is that near the bathroom area?
No,
Okay.
no, but I do know from knowing the previous tenants on my left, when the bathrooms are back to back, the stacks are connected. Because when they had work on their bathroom, their plumber snaked out something and the snake ended up in my toilet.
So that would be a definite, connection there. And once you can get everything cleaned up and, this would be an assumption, and I don't assume, but if the conditions I visibly see from the windows in the back door, maybe some of the lack of cleaning that goes on elsewhere, and it might need a good deep scrub that you can get to. But let's go one step at a time. We need to get that egress addressed.
And so you said it's coming next Saturday?
The 29th.
Okay. How long do you think you need to?
I'm only having the dumpster for a week.
Okay.
I was originally, when I talked to Bob, I was gonna get a pod to move some of the good stuff out and put it in the pod, and then get the dumpster.
Okay.
But the homeowners association was one or the other, not both, and they only gave me a 2-week limit.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can start with the dumpster and then go to the other.
That's right.
So, what I suggest, and obviously, we want to get Candace's opinion, is after you've had the dumpster for a week, I'd like Bob to see where we stand. If it's not to what Bob feels it should be. I mean, this is Bob's thing. Bob knows exactly what he's looking for. then we're gonna have to take more drastic issue at that point.
So when I
Do you
said,
feel that that's a good idea, Bob? Do you
I
feel
feel
that
it-
is?
I mean, that's really how I'd like to proceed, because what inevitably will happen, okay, is I'll have court orders that will post the building unfit for human habitation. And at that point in time, you'll be taken from your unit until corrective actions are taken. I don't want to get there, because what happens is two things. What happens to you now that you don't have a place to live? Okay? And you're our concern right now, as well as the others, okay? And then also, once you do that, you haven't worked with people, you haven't afforded them every opportunity, every chance. So, here we are tonight to give you that chance and not take it to the full extent of the powers that I am legally responsible to enforce. So, I just would ask you, please act upon what I'm talking to, tonight. If you have questions, I'm available. You have my phone number. I told you I'll pick up bags. I don't care if you, once you go home from here, get a couple of boxes into a bag and throw it out in the front. It will be gone tomorrow morning. I will keep checking. But you've been receiving $100 a day fine to get you to at least come in here. And it took that much to get you started. Perhaps, if things get done in the manner that you're speaking, the board may be able to waive those fines. But I'm not going to speak on their behalf or even say that that's going to stop until such time that we see immediate progress.
So my suggestion was going to be, I was just looking at the calendar. So if the dumpster's coming on the 29th,
Yep.
our next meeting is the 2nd. And I mean, I feel like that's a weekend with the dumpster. I feel like a check-in at that point to see how you're doing, if we've been able to open the egress. I mean, that would be mine, because otherwise then we're talking not until November 16th.
Right.
So personally, I think with a dumpster and some help, I think we could at least get that egress open by then.
Yeah,
Everyone else
because
feel like
I mean,
that's
that's
a
gonna be
reasonable
basically
goal?
half a week.
Right.
And
he
you only
only
got
have
it for a week. What's that?
And he only has it for a week.
Right, so yeah, I agree with Candace.
So
Do you feel that's obtainable?
I think so.
Great. Okay, so let's plan on that. Bob, why don't you swing by if you can on Wednesday afternoon before our meeting, and then we can sort of see how progress is, see how much we got in the dumpster, and see if the egress is open, and then we'll go from there.
Alright, so we're all in agreement.
I'm in agreement. Brian, we are here
To help.
to help. I need to be fair, firm, and consistent with every measure I take. So, and I've dealt with many of these, so please get on board, because I'm not offering you pie in the sky things. If I didn't think it was obtainable, I wouldn't even offer it. Let's work together.
Okay.
We don't all want to have to come to a decision that none of us want, you or us.
Right. It just. We'll make a bad situation worse. Let's make a bad
Okay.
situation better. Please and thank you.
Alright, you're all set.
Okay.
Alright, best of luck.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks.
I appreciate you coming
Okay.
tonight.
Thanks.
Have a great evening.
Okay.
Okay, we can either blast through the rest of the discussion and knock out disposals, or go either way.
Just blast the rest of the discussions, we're already at it.
CPR training.
Oh, cool. Quick update is waiting for times to be scheduled in November to have optional town employee training on both CPR, anti-choke, and Narcan. Some other towns make it mandatory for town employees, but in talking with the fire department, he goes, at least if we start with the municipal people, that tends to roll it out better to the community.
Yeah, word of mouth, it'll spread.
Moving forward, so
Perfect.
that's the plan of action, and we're looking into getting defibrillators.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Halloween.
Halloween. Okay. So, I went to Stop and Shop and Walmart. They're both willing to help with the donation of a gift card, but they don't have any glow sticks or
Of
any,
course.
right? So I said, okay, then just hold on a minute. Right? So,
Walmart doesn't have any glow stuff out for Halloween?
honest to God, the
Wow,
only thing
okay.
I saw was like glow in the dark balloons, but those are even helium. They're like,
Not
you know,
helpful.
they'd be hanging. So, but I did notice that I can order like 100 on Amazon for like $48.
Okay.
It's well within our Board of Health budget. I did pass it by this select
Man.
board person, and he said, well, if we need to help, I said, listen, it's in my budget. I just want you to know that we're not having, you know, he goes, no, it's a
Party,
great
not having a
idea.
little party."
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
So I'll pay. and,
So-
and then you'll have what you need, and then I'll print up anything that you want me to.
Okay, perfect.
So my first question is, do you feel like 100's enough, or?
Oh, I'll get more.
Well, that was what
So this is what I was thinking. So
Yeah.
I was thinking Saturday morning the 29th, in front of the library, sort of near the soccer fields, because the traffic between 8 in the morning when Dino's soccer starts and 10 o'clock when the 9-year-olds finish, so actually 11, there's so many kids and families in and out of there.
Mhm.
So, I mean,
I'd rather have too many and
Yeah.
do
Well, the
it
other
again
thing
next
is-
year
yeah.
and not have enough.
oh, and the other thing is later in the day I'm going to be then going over to Summit with my other son, so if I have extra I could always hand them out with flyers there too. But
There you go.
yeah, that's my idea. Halloween safety, glow sticks. I got like some little I got like a little
200?
beam. Yeah, I think that's probably a safer bet. I mean, the traffic in and out of there on a Saturday morning at the playground with soccer is just unreal. It's like,
I can't. Yeah, we were talking about it. I had to talk to him one day this week. I can't tell you how much I love this idea.
yeah.
It's
It's exciting. to me.
Halloween safety. So I'll get like we did for the summer safety thing. Maybe I'll find like some coloring sheets. I also got like a little game. It's like a ring toss with like witches hats thing. So while we're giving them, you know, the don't eat candy before your parents check it, where, you know, use your glow sticks so that cars can see you. They can just play games, and I got a bunch of those really cheap little spider rings that the kids love.
Do
I
you
don't know
need
why.
to bring a table or anything, or is there anything I can bring?
If you could bring a folding table, that would be great,
Okay,
because the
yeah.
one I have is incredibly heavy.
Yeah, no, I got one that actually folds into like fours, like a
Beautiful.
square.
That would be great. And then I think for the summer safety, we did make a sign that just said Board of Health. I would love to pull that out of the basement so that people know who we are, so I don't think there's strangers handing out candy and not candy, but you know, luring
Glow
children
sticks.
in. Yeah.
We can have like a grand prize of a toothbrush, toothpaste, and floss.
I
to
wasn't
go
even gonna
along
go
with it.
there, but that's another point. I was just thinking more
Sorry.
of like, you know, glow sticks
Well,
so people can see you. There's been
no,
so much
no.
horrible talk about the candy this year in the news. I'm like, it's always a good reminder to, you know, don't eat anything that's open, let your parents check it first, things like that.
So when I was online, there's stuff through mass.gov, DPH, and then also different sites, and then you know it says like the 5 do's and don'ts, and it's
Oh, I love
always
it.
light up and check your candy.
Yeah.
You know,
And those are
like
the two big
top
ones that come to
two, and
mind.
then it talks about skip trick or treat and have a party of this. No, look, let's if we can focus in on check your candy and
Glow
make
sticks.
sure that you're well lit. I mean, there's a gentleman, I was talking to the building inspector, and I'll just tell the story quickly, but He was coming around the corner on a Halloween night. The kid was totally in black. Didn't see him. The child passed away. Well, and you know, it wasn't the driver's fault. The kid was like in the road, but it bothered him so much that now every year he's just like dedicated his life to making sure that kids have proper, you know, reflection and safety and everything. So.
And the ones you were looking at, are
I
they
don't
like?
want a tragedy to make it.
No. The ones that you were looking at, are they like the long ones that you can loop and like put like a necklace? Are those the ones, or were they the ones that are like?
There were both types. There's a couple. So.
Okay.
Okay, now we can go. You know, this is your expertise. You know, there's necklace types. There's like a little pendant.
Like
type.
a lanyard. Okay, lanyard.
That could go
Okay,
either
as long
way, so.
as long as the one has
Wrist
like a
bracelets.
string. All right, whatever you think is the most cost effective.
Yeah, I personally think I'd stay away from the wrist ones because I feel like your hands are the
Yeah.
least seen.
I would do one of the neck ones too. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because with the
there's not
neck
a
one you can
huge-
see from behind.
Yeah, if there's
as
not
well.
a huge difference, that's what I would do. Is the one that loops all the way around, so then, like Steve said, you can see the glow from the back and the front.
That's
The
what I was
pendants
hoping.
you can only see from the front. So as long as they're not like ridiculously expensive compared to the other ones, I think those ones are probably the safer bet.
Perfect.
And then do we need to ask anyone at the library, or can we just like set up shop on the table right there on the lawn?
Well, I would do that as courtesy.
Courtesy?
For sure.
Okay. Do you know who I
Absolutely.
can contact there?
Sure. Jean Gallant. I'll speak to her too,
Okay.
but very rarely do they throw Board of Health out.
Okay. Cool.
We're always welcome at all of our places here in town
Gee, I wonder why.
because we work together with everybody to come to the best possible solutions.
Yep. Keep everyone safe. All right, cool.
Awesome. Alright, I'm not gonna sign payroll.
One thing I'd like to keep on just discussion items quickly is we were able to have the tobacco collaborative start this week in town.
Oh, okay, cool.
She's already done 2 inspections, both of which have identified products that are not specifically, are not under the law.
I did notice at one establishment I was driving by the other day, they have a huge sign now on the door that says, "No one under 21 allowed." Even my wife noticed it. She's like, "That's new," because it's like plastered over the whole door.
Yes, that's what spurred all this was first many establishments got caught selling to minors, but that the tobacco law goes really deep. And as far as the complexity of products that you can and cannot sell, some are just no-brainer. Obviously, no. But then other times, like distributors will send in stuff to them that might be 5% instead of 3%, or maybe called that instead of that, and there's a list that goes on and on. So it's the retailer's responsibility to know that. However, in the letter that I sent her, it's an introduction. And it says, "This letter serves as notification that Ms. Kathleen Mahoney is an authorized agent of the Halifax Board of Health. Ms. Mahoney is an employer or employee of the Department of Public Health Tobacco Control Division, which works in collaboration with towns to ensure compliance with tobacco compliance law. Ms. Mahoney is stopping in to provide educational support, provide missing signage, and Ms. Mahoney is also authorized to conduct tobacco compliance unannounced checks. If a violation is found, Ms. Mahoney will report the violation to the Board of Health, meaning me, you. The board will require the owner of the business to attend a Board of Health public meeting to explain how the violation occurred and the plan to prevent reoccurrence. All measures of the Massachusetts tobacco law will be strictly enforced. The dollar amount of fines is substantial. $1,000, $2,000, $5,000. And repeat violations may result in the loss of your license. So her first two stops, she made sure that they fully understand, have the law in their hands, told them and took pictures and gave them to me of the products that were wrong, and moving forward, that's how we need to proceed to stay in compliance with the law. I also asked them, please extend Ms. Mahoney a warm welcome. This visit is to help you and your employees prevent public health issues and avoid penalties of law. So, both establishments reached out to me within a half hour of her appearance, and not only apologized, but said that she was polite, courteous, and that they fully understood what they had done wrong, how they can start moving forward. But so it was a receptive response. Technically, we could fine them right away with $1,000. I think how I wrote the letter was to provide educational support and get missing signage. I've done inspections, I've looked quickly, but I haven't gone down the 200-page list of every single item. And even some of the items were buried behind other items, like you saw a 3% out front and the 5% was in the back of it. So I think the first visit for everybody should probably be a pass. And then the second visit, not so much, or not at all.
I agree.
Good.
Because then there's no excuse. You've been told, you've been warned, you've been given the resources you need.
Mm-hmm.
Step
And
up.
it's their responsibility. That's part of you ask for a
Step up
license.
or pay up.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Ratify disposal looks permits. Ratify agent's approval for 1 through 4. Bob, do we have any problems with any of these?
The only not problems.
Or only things we need to discuss?
Yes. Number one, we would have to grant a variance. And Candace, he gives a little bit of like insight into septic Title V in a snapshot. But when a system, the location is over at Harmony Liquors with Grill 58.
Yep.
Great big system, okay? Over 2,000 gallons a day is the flow rate. Now, houses are based off each bedroom 330
I was
a
going to say,
day.
I can't imagine that they have that many people using the...
Well,
Well, it's about to get a whole lot more interesting for you.
Oh, boy.
according to Title V, once you go over 2,000, there's a system that's called pressure dosing that they want you to use.
Is that like down for 1, up for 2 type thing?
It forces it really hard. So
Okay.
picture a big long pipe with holes in it. Okay? And now they're gonna force the water down through that pipe. And as long as those little holes remain unclogged, should work very well. However, those little holes oftentimes
Okay.
don't stay unclogged,
Especially
and
public.
therefore the force that goes out seriously diminishes. So when I first test the system, it's totally empty, never been used. I have to have 36 inches, 34, 36 inches worth of chute that comes up. Usually once they go into failure, it's only shooting like this high, and well, no wonder why it's not being forced in. So there's a pro and con to pressure dosing, but in the Title V it says this is what we recommend. However, you as a Board of Health can decide if there might be any reason why you might do differently. Well, the two reasons why we might do differently is because, one, dentist office doesn't use the calculated volumes of water that they used to do in 1995, which is what the design flows were based off of, because when I was a kid, that little white bowl swirled water the whole time. Now you have to press a button and you get a little half Dixie cup.
Conservation.
Yeah, cleaning's totally different. And then a little deeper research was Grill 58's going to use what Grill 58 uses. Let's face it,
Busy.
The Harmony Liquors, I looked at their water readings. I'm like, wow, these are a little bit high. And he goes, I go, do you have an ice machine? He goes, yeah. So almost all the water intake that he has for that business actually goes out
Yes.
in bagged ice. So it's like, okay, so now if I'm looking at water records, this is sort of, okay, let's call
Not
a
very
gallon,
helpful.
8 pounds, 5 pound bag of ice. There's, and then it makes the next bag, it's just all.
Yeah.
So there is flushing of the system, this and that, but it's minuscule. And it's also, so that's based off square footage of the building, and then you have square footage of the T-box up above it. Well, the T-box is open November through March, May, depending upon weather. It's closed all summer, so there's really not the amount of stuff that, well, water and effluent that would go into that system that it's been designed at, which rough calculations would mean that I believe we should grant a variance, and gravity always works.
Yes, that's true.
What's going on is the other side of the field, which is what Grill 58 is attached to, is working perfectly. But the reason is because that water is going through
Yeah,
there.
there's always flushing the toilet.
Exactly, and so it's keeping the pipe clean because the stuff constantly going through it. It's hot.
Versus
These
Harmony,
pipes that are
you're
sitting
just
there, they're
taking
little
all this
trickle
water
going
in.
through.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense to me. I defer to your expertise, both of you, on that issue.
And,
that makes sense to me in layman's terms, anyway.
Yeah, no, and I've reached out to a couple of installers and engineers besides my review engineer on this, and just said, your thoughts? They go, if you can go gravity, do it. So,
Okay, that makes sense to
I'm
me.
a pipe and stone
But that
kind
would
of guy.
oh yeah.
For the whole building or just that side? Because Grill 58 still needs that high power thing, right?
They could still gravity feed because it's going to be pumped up to the system.
Okay.
What we're worried about is the actual, once it gets to what you're talking about, the total square footage of the system.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Right,
That makes sense.
I got you. And the effluent should be basically the same, given the,
Is
they have extra tanks.
is Joe okay with replacing both sides?
Joe's the one who recommended it.
I
He
I
only
love
had
a
to do
customer
one
that's
side.
willing to, not try and nickel and dime it.
Well, if
and
I have
save.
to do one, he goes, I better do them both at the same time.
It's like the headlight thing. If you go, one headlight goes out, you have to replace both.
Right.
Awesome. Good job, Joe. All right. So I'm looking for a motion to approve, ratify agent approvals 1 through 4 as listed.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Falling signed, mail
Guys
folder.
are just on to, pretty much just,
That's it.
approve
That's
the
what I think I
invoices.
have, right?
Payroll, meeting minutes.
We have to go back to approve that. I'm looking to get a motion to approve payroll for the week ending October 22nd, 2022, items 1 through 3.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Looking for a motion to approve the meetings of September 7th, 2022 and October 5th, 2022.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Looking for a motion to approve revolving account 255-513-FY23, Spath Engineering 1 and 2, Bunker and Sons, and John Delano's.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Looking for a motion for nursing services account 01-522 FY23 for period October 2022.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright, I am looking for a motion to end the October 19th meeting at 7:16 p.m.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Candace,
How's last
just,
night?